Andrew Schulz went on No Jumper with Adam22, who is subscribed to this YouTube channel for some reason. He was subscribed to my old YouTube channel, interviewed Brendan Schaub, the next day unsubscribed from that old channel, but is now subscribed to this new channel. I don't get it, but they talked about the Gringo Poppy in the Fighter and the Kid subreddit. So I'm going to play this, react to it, and give you my thoughts on it. But I love how... And Andrew Schulz deserves these questions, by the way, because according to Brendan Schaub, Andrew Schulz watched the Gringo Poppy just to see if it was ready and told Brendan to put it out. So he deserves to get asked all these questions. So let's see what they had to say, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
So, okay, we've talked about gang shootings, we've talked about abortion.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something that is perhaps even more disturbing.
Okay.
Gringo Poppy. You and I...
You want some clips,
You
boy.
and I are both friends...
Some YouTube clips.
We will explain. He and I are both friends of Brendan Schaub.
Yeah, shouts to Brendan.
Former UFC fighter, current comedian and podcaster. I know you see it. People, for some reason, they want anyone associated with Brendan Schaub to speak out against him because they don't like his comedy special. What is your attitude on
Who is they to you?
the Redditors?
Yes, he has a Reddit page that is like is massive. And
It will make you scared to have a Reddit.
yeah, and it's like dedicated to just shitting on him, and
Right.
it's really unfortunate because like
We got one too now.
do you guys have the
It's pretty malicious.
yeah, it's an interesting thing because Reddit is fascinating and fucking hilarious, and like they're like creative people on there. And basically what it is it's like your Reddit page is giving thousands of people that might not have their own Instagram or Twitter that's popping access to a group Instagram that's popping. That's what a Reddit page is.
Right.
So now they have access to 50,000 people or whatever it is, and if they put something out that slaps, it gets views and it gets reactions, and all of a sudden you get to almost feel like you're popping because your content is crushing. So you're going to keep on leaning into that.
So it incentivizes them to be as mean as
Ruthless
possible because that's the stuff that rises to the top.
Yeah,
is the shit that's the cruelest.
Exactly. And then you got to be good at like making sure the mods, I guess, have to be good at making sure that the page is healthy, because at the end of the day, like, you don't want that page to take away from the content. And I think that's unfortunately what's happening with the Fighter and the Kid. Like, they have a fucking great podcast. Like, they're hilarious together. Like, Brian and Brendan are fucking hilarious together. And Brendan's like a really great dude. He's a genuinely sweet dude who helps people. He's the reason I got on Rogan. Like, he was like, yo, you got to get this guy on. This is before anybody was fucking looking at my shit. Like, and that really changed my life. So he's actually a great dude. And he's just getting destroyed by that thing. I told him to lean into it. I was like, bro, you got to sell merch. Like, anything that they do about you, you got to lean in. And then I thought that they would appreciate that in one way. They're like, oh, okay, he's not ignoring and acting like this thing isn't happening. He's like taking part of this thing.
His Reddit is so fucked up that, like, they've made it their mission to expose him cheating.
That's where it's like, yo, you going into the personal life, that's wild, man.
Are they? So they're like that deep into his life where there's people probably following him around,
getting like security cam footage and shit,
it's
right?
different. It's different when you have a group of people who are basically commenting on the stuff that you're putting out into the world, and it's different when they become basically like a large league of private investigators who are gonna like overturn every rock throughout your life and find everything that they could possibly do, because that's kind of where his shit is at.
Yeah. I mean, you know Brendan, like, you guys are close or what?
Well, we did the interview, but
that's all you know.
I'm totally honest. I saw the first 6 or 7 minutes of the special.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel like I could handle too much more of it. I think he's a good guy. I'm not like a big fan of his comedy, but I mean, I fuck with a lot of people where I don't really like their rapping.
Yeah.
And we're still cool, right? Like, that's not the entirety of who you are as a person. Eddie is a just fine rapper. Do know you.
I'm about to say, the nigga looked at me, I'm like,
I don't like Josh's raps. I still fuck with him.
he's a man. And he's with your sister.
Right, and his raps about her are horrifically offensive, and I advised him not to drop the Hash Brown Town K mixtape because of that. So, I mean, you cannot be a huge fan of somebody's art and also think that they're a good dude, right?
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, like, comedy is like anything else. You like get better at it. if you put the time in. So
Right.
like I think a lot of people don't realize that like Brendan's like very early into his comedy career. Like I told him, I was like, I think you put the like even when he did that first special, I think it was just too early. This shit takes a while, bro. Like you need. I mean, most people say like a decade before you're like starting to get nice.
Fuck.
Yeah, bro. I mean,
No wonder I suck.
You're only 22.
I fucking suck.
But hey,
Nah,
how much
you're
stand-up have
early,
you done?
man.
I've done like 5 shows.
Yeah, but
Within the last, but that's not even enough.
Yeah.
Like he's like, when
I
we're
was
having a
doing back in New York when I was coming up. I was doing like 12 a week.
Yeah. I've kicked it with
14
him
a
in that
week.
environment, and we're
Yeah.
talking like 5 years ago, where I was watching him just do sets and just kick it backstage with the other comics, and me as a non-comedian, I'm seeing that and realizing like, oh, this is how people get really fucking funny, is they spend fucking 6 hours a night kicking it with other comics backstage, getting on stage, seeing what works, seeing what the audience feels with. It's like fucking boot camp for learning to be funny on camera.
Because a lot of times you have these ideas, you just don't have the tools to execute them. So you like have these premises that are really funny, but you just can't make them funny yet because you don't have the skill set. And then eventually you develop those skills by just constantly working on it. So like some of your earliest premises, like some of my earliest ideas could have been my funniest. I just didn't know how to fucking do them just yet. And that just takes years. And like, because you can only practice that shit on stage. That's the weirdest thing about comedy. Like guitar, you could just play all fucking day in your garage. Stand up, you got to be in front of people, and you got to be good to be in front of them for a long time. So right now you're doing 5 minutes at a time. Imagine learning guitar 5 minutes at a time. How long would that take you?
You probably bomb a lot, too.
Oh, in the beginning for sure. Especially if you do humor like mine. Like I don't go up there, give it up for God. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to take almost like the least likable point of view and then create a fucked up argument for it. That's what I get off on.
But I think that's where social media kind of, like, you feel me? Because I was already doing my shit on social media, so when I started this shit, people already expected me
Yeah,
to
you had fame before you even developed the skill.
Exactly.
And that's where it's very difficult. You
Yeah.
know? And that's honestly where Brendan was. It's like Brendan got like famous. He had one of the biggest podcasts on the planet. Like, especially when that whole podcast is seen in LA was blown the fuck up. So it's like it takes time to develop, man, and work.
But from your perspective, if you were in his position where you were already famous for something else with the UFC shit, would you have intentionally chose a slower career path to maybe like gradually build up to that? Because I feel like just getting like dumped into the fucking
I didn't even let my
deepest
friends
water,
see me.
it's gonna be tough.
Coming up in stand up, I didn't even let my friends come out and see me. I didn't let my family. Nah, like I want to be nice. Like I'm the funny one with you guys. I'm not about to let y'all see me be whack. You know what I mean? Like I need to like go grind, get good at this, dedicate my whole fucking life to this, and once I'm good, then people can start coming.
Did you have a ton of insecurity about it early on?
Insecurity in what way?
So we got to discuss a few things in there. First of all, the typical defenses of Brendan Schaub. He's a nice guy. Is he? Is he really? But first I want to talk about this whole stand-up comedy thing. And the fact of this rule, it takes 10 years before you even start to get good at it. I've got a feeling the vast majority of stand-up comedians are rich kids, because who has 10 years to do something, not be good at it, and not make money at it, but you got 10 years just to waste doing it? And a lot of them are rich kids. You know, Schaub's a rich kid, D'Elia, Callan, Whitney Cummings. You could argue Schulz. I mean, his mother does own a very famous dance studio in Manhattan, so it's probably easier, to do stand-up comedy for 10 years and get good at it when you don't really have to make money doing it. But did it really take Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock 10 years to get good at it, though? Did it really? No. But aside from all that, I like how Adam22 basically just admitted Brendan Schaub's not funny and his special stinks. Andrew Schulz seems like a very loyal guy. Brendan Schaub, according to him, got him on Rogan, so he's not really going to trash him. But you can be honest with him and just say, dude, you're not funny. You're not funny in any way, shape, or form. And explain to him the comedian thing. Because you can't not be a funny comedian and still brag about your lifestyle. I mean, all Brendan Schaub and his wife are Lamborghini and Ferrari pics and mansion pics. Look at our amazing lives. Like, regular comedians don't do that. Chris Rock isn't doing Lamborghini. You know Chris Rock has enough money for Lamborghinis. You know Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, all these guys, they're not on Instagram just, look at my new Lambo. And they've earned it. All the stuff Schaub has is from his dad. He's a rich kid. And he gets no views. His podcast is dead. He can't sell tickets. It's sad. It's over. It's done. So, Adam22, I like that he talked about this. This was on the No Jumper episode. There was also a little thing where they talked about Joe Budden I want to check out from this episode. But, I mean, even the dude's own friends have to admit that his special is trash. And the dude is not a good dude. A good dude doesn't do what he and Brian Callen did to Bobby Lee. Brendan Schaub is not a good dude. Brendan Schaub knows that he's a fraud, and he pays people to be his friend. So they think he's a good dude. No, the dude just knows he's a fraud. And he doesn't want to get exposed for being a fraud. So he acts nice to all of you. God knows who he doesn't act nice to. God knows what other people he threw Joe Rogan's name around. Remember, Bobby Lee did say on that phone call they threatened him with Joe Rogan. I wonder who else they threatened. Or just said, you know, I want tickets or I want a good table at this restaurant. I am friends with Joe Rogan. It's pathetic. And Brendan Schaub, extremely pathetic. But, yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And Adam22, since you're subscribed to me, and I know you're going to watch this video, why are you subscribed to me when you unsubscribed from my old channel?